Patricia, how do you prefer to define public history?
Well, public history to me is the process of engaging both the training in history with the ability to speak to multiple audiences, but to do it in a way that, at least in one's head, is always having the conversation between knowledge and action. That can take place in lots of different ways, and sometimes the public is not always aware of that interchange, but the person doing the public history is always conscious of the fact that what you're doing is engaging in a conversation between the past and the audience, between the analysis and the presentation.
And what are your favourite examples of public history?
Well, I suppose my most favorite one, I used to teach the museum class, and I have to say that I get museum fatigue in a heartbeat. You know, I go into a museum and think, oh my God, how long am I going to be captured? Even though
it's a heartbeat, it sounds more like an allergy than fatigue.
Even though I worked in a museum and I certainly enjoyed that, but so it's going to seem strange then to say that my most favorite public history experience was going to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. And if you've ever been to that museum, or if you have the opportunity to go to that museum, once you go in, you are even though they have moments where you can escape, because it's very overwhelming and it's very powerful, but it was such an incredibly well done space with multiple floors and multiple types of media and an incredible array of material culture, that the ability to engage with the material as you walk through and to listen to the audience and to see yourself as a participant in understanding that museum, and as you go from the bottom floor to the top floor and then around and back down to some open spaces where you have the opportunity to breathe in a different way. That, I suppose, is my best public history experience for me. Watching my kids have a public history experience, who always roll their eyes, oh yes, we're going to yet another museum because mom needs it for some reason or the other. There's a place just southwest of Tucson that's an old mission, and what they do is allow for, it is a spot where you can walk in and kind of feel, how when you walk into certain churches you can feel that it's a sacred space. There's something about the environment, there's something, I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but there is something about the space that makes you feel that it's special and that it transports you into almost a separate moment. This particular site, which did it for, I think, my husband and I, but particularly did it for our kids who were, like 8 and 11. And it was done in a way where they were given cards. There's no interpretation, so sometimes the less intrusive the interpretation, the better. The guide said, we're going to give you these cards, and what you have is a scavenger hunt, but you need to look at everything in order to find the few. And so, you can imagine these are kids who've been kept up, stuck in the car, they're ready to get out, walking into the space with their clues, but with, not their parents' admonition to look at everything, meant that they engaged with the physical space and the written word in a really interesting way. So they came out of the experience, because we let them go through by themselves without their parents. And what they found was that they engaged in their own conversation about what the different parts of the mission meant. And so well, I'm not sure in today's world they could tell you a lot of the specifics about what they saw. What they remember is a place that spoke to them about the past, that was inhabited by others who were doing things in a community that somehow was both apart from and tied from the community. So to me, that's a way that here an audience of two came away with an appreciation for one aspect of a piece of the past, even if, you know, it's not burdened by lots of other types of information.
Excellent. Well, I think that's all we've got time for.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.